Hello and welcome to Jessie Bear Book Club. Today we are reviewing Mary I, Queen of Sorrow by Alison Weir. This is the first video in a 3-part review series. Mary's early life is idyllic, but is quickly marred by the breakdown of her betrothal to her cousin and the ennoblement of her half-brother Henry Fitzroy, followed quickly by Mary's own move to Ludlow Castle, away from her beloved mother. But Mary is a smart child who loves to learn and worships both her parents, reveling in the court's adoration of her, the only legitimate child. Even if her beloved mother, Catherine of Aragon, is getting sadder and sadder every time they see each other, and her father, Henry VIII, appears more short-tempered at every festive occasion. Slowly, Anne Boleyn's name is on people's lips, and Mary takes notice. Even when she overhears Lady Salisbury talking about the king's great matter, she doesn't understand what is happening or why Anne Boleyn is involved. But when Catherine of Aragon, her mother, sits Mary down to tell her that the king has doubts over her parents' marriage, Mary's foundation is shaken. She no longer sees her father in the same glorious light, especially because he is causing her beloved, devout mother, Catherine of Aragon, so much pain. Mary also doesn't understand why her father would want to marry Anne Boleyn, a commoner who isn't even royal, and her child's brain settles on the fact her father must have been bewitched. To her, at this point, it is the only logical explanation, but it is the first of many deep flights of fancy Mary will have throughout her life. Watching Catherine of Aragon, her beloved mother, become sadder and more depressed makes Mary very angry. She is angry at her father for being cruel. She is angry at Anne Boleyn, but most of all, she is enraged by the fact her father cannot see that she, Mary, could make a great queen, just like her grandmother, Isabella of Castile. Mary is in awe of how patient her mother is, especially after the court at Blackfriars doesn't make a decision either way. Mary is screaming on the inside and doesn't know how her mother has managed to stay so calm, deciding that this patience her mother shows is a sign of sainthood. I feel very sorry for Mary as her mother is taken away from her, and then Lady Salisbury, her governess, is taken away from her. It's hard to read. She is just a teenage girl who needs her mother and her governess. However, I have been disappointed by the fact in this book, so far, there has been no Margaret Douglas. And I think Margaret Douglas and Mary spent a lot of their early teens together, did they not? And there is no Mary Tudor. There is no Frances Brandon. There is no family at all, really, in this book, apart from Henry VIII and Catherine of Aragon, her parents. This is an odd choice by Alison Weir, but maybe we will get a short story where these characters are included. I am hoping for that. Mary's rebellion against her father is rooted in the fact he has hurt her, and when she is sent to the household to wait on Elizabeth, her baby half-sister, who she believes is a bastard and is treated cruelly by Lady Sheldon, it seems like overkill, this bad treatment of her. Mary blames Anne, not her father, though, and it seems like Mary has developed a get-out clause for Henry, so she can still love him by blaming every cruel thing he does on Anne, even if it was he himself who ordered it. It is completely normal for a child of divorce to hate their new step-parent, though, but Mary takes it one step further, believing Anne is a witch. Mary's hope to escape to the Empire and her cousin's dominions are so realistic for a young woman trapped in a horrible situation. She just wants to escape, and I think it was almost cruel of her mother, Catherine of Aragon, to deny her that hope of escape. Maybe if she had left for the Empire, she would have married and had children and never become Bloody Mary. When Mary's mother, Catherine of Aragon, dies, Mary goes into shock, with her health rapidly declining. I think Mary must be in some form of depression, or at least a stress and anxiety-induced illness. But cut off as she is from the world, word finally reaches her that Anne Boleyn is not in Henry's good graces, and this perks her up. Slowly, members of the court start reaching out to her, viewing her yet again as the only viable heir. When Anne Boleyn's fall happens, it is all very quick, and although Mary is over the moon about it all, it happens off-page. Mary's return to the good graces of her father, King Henry VIII, and the court is marred by the fact she has to sign a document claiming she is illegitimate, and this continues to haunt her throughout the rest of the book. But I don't think the signing of this document and the lead up to signing it was as focused on as it could have been. Mary's only real thoughts about this document are frustration and sadness. I think there should have been more dynastic questions at play. Mary's love for her little half-sister Elizabeth is tainted by the Mark Smeaton rumour, but at this point in the book it is not as prominent in her thoughts as I thought it would be. Mary's love for her little sister Elizabeth is also sad to read because Mary really needs a family to complete her. She has an urge to recreate her idyllic childhood that she lost. Mary's relationship with her father and his new wife, Queen Jane Seymour, is finally on an even keel, but Mary feels awkward. Even after being restored to this succession, she is technically illegitimate, and no prince in Europe will want to marry her. Mary is the vision of spinsterhood, and Mary and Chapuis's relationship isn't really focused on in this book. I would have liked a little bit more of a spark, a little bit of flirtation, but there's nothing like that. I suppose it's quite realistic, but I would have liked a little bit of flirting. When Jane Seymour dies, giving birth to Edward, Mary's grief is real because with the death of Jane dies any hopes of her being allowed to marry and have a family of her own. Mary is also growing very worried about her father because in his grief he is getting fatter and fatter and his black mood isn't lifting, while Cromwell is pushing Henry VIII to remarry again and have more children within weeks of Jane's death, and she thinks this is absurd. This is the end of part 1 of this review, Mary I, Queen of Sorrow. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and leave me a comment with your thoughts on the childhood and teen years of Mary I. You can also subscribe. I have a full playlist of Alison Weir videos that you can watch. Until next time, don't burn anybody at the stake. Bye!